So I can introduce myself first. Hi everyone, my name's Cindy. I work for Coding Black Females as the HR and finance manager. I've been here for over a year now, loving it. For me, it was really important to have to work for a company that kind of aligns with my mission and kind of like my values. So I think it's really rare to find something like that. I've never had this experience before. I really, really support what the initiative of the company, and working for Black females actually is really rewarding for me. So this week is actually our careers week, and seeing so many people turn up and so many people get involved has been really amazing. And I'm just thank you, so grateful for everyone that turns up, and I'm so grateful to be able to help everyone as well. So I'll be Cynthia, I'll be your host, I guess, for this thing, but Claire will actually be leading, so I'll pass it on to Claire.
Thanks, Cynthia, and thanks everyone for your time today. My name's Claire Goodall, and I'm an equity consultant with STEM Returners. I've been with STEM Returners for 2 years and equally really love working for this diversity and inclusion consultancy. My background is I did a HR degree and I worked in training and development for a few years. I had my first child, and when I came back to work after having him, and I took a year and a half off with him, I felt I was floundering a little bit at work. I wasn't the person that I was before I had my child, and coming back to work after that break and with a different mindset was really, really tough for me. I worked in a job where I had to be in the office or on site all the time without any real flexibility in that, and not being with my son full time and not being able to work from home or work in any way flexibly is something I really struggled with. I also found that, growing as a person, having the experience of becoming a mother kind of meant that I felt I wanted to transition and change my outset and what I was doing. And that's what I did. I kind of I made a change at that point and pivoted my career and started working as a headhunter, working in executive search, which allowed me to work more flexibly from home and part-time. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that sometimes when things happen in our lives, be that caring responsibilities or personal health challenges or relocation or various other things, that it can really affect how we feel at work and how we feel about the work that we're doing. And that's really the reason why I started working with STEM Returners 2 years ago. I know that in the STEM sector here in the UK, it's predominantly a white male working environment. That the women in engineering and STEM are only represented about 12%, which is quite shocking and quite stark. And hence, the journey that I joined the organisation here at STEM Returners and the mission that we're on to create a more equitable playing field within the STEM sector. And I shall spend the next few moments talking to you a bit about how we do that. Hopefully my screen will be sharing. Lovely, thank you very much. So STEM Returners, Equity in STEM, a STEM Returners programme approach. So STEM Returners are a diversity and inclusion consultancy. We've been around for 6 years. We run something called the STEM Returners programme. The programme is effectively a 12-week paid work placement within STEM sector organisations that leads to a permanent role if it should go well. And that's a two-way street. So that goes well for a career returner or a person transferring their skills from another sector, and it goes well for a host company who sees value in welcoming someone back to work after a career break, often at a mid-career level. Our ethos or our mission is to create a more equitable playing field STEM sector, moving from an inequality through to a period of justice, really, where there's equal chance for everyone to thrive. We know particularly with females, we take on about 5 times more caring responsibilities than our male counterparts. We know there's a shift in that pattern and culturally things are changing, but the statistic still stands. So we do have more barriers when looking to return to work after a career break. And hopefully my story gives a bit of an impression that careers really aren't linear. Diversity within people comes in all shapes and sizes. As we know, there's 10 protected characteristics of the Equality Act. I personally am a dyslexic professional. I see it as my superpower in the sense that I know it makes me more creative. I know it makes me a better verbal communicator because of the struggles I've had with my written communication over the years, and the way that I need to express myself with words and in person. However, it can create barriers and challenges, and it can create a little bit of imposter syndrome when I'm personally applying for jobs, or I have been in the past, about the way my written communication might come across and the mistakes I might make without being able to see them, if that makes sense, in my writing. So STEM Materners is very much about taking people outside of a standard recruitment methodology and giving them an equitable chance to thrive. Often that's about having light touch interviews and simpler recruitment processes where someone might be lacking confidence, leading on from a diversity or disability, be that seen or unseen, or from, quite simply, having had a career break. There's so many reasons why people take a break in their careers. There's definitely not a one-size-fits-all for what we do at STEM Returners. Often there's a perception that a career break professional is a returning mum. And yes, that is the case often, but there's also lots of other reasons why people take a career break. And we're particularly passionate here at STEM Returners about people that have transitioned their skills from one career to another. So for example, having worked in teaching and looking to progress into technology, or having worked in the oil and gas sector and hoping to transition into renewable energy. There's lots of different transitions that happen as well. So our impact is that we've worked with over 400 people since we started 6 years ago. And of those 400 people, 96% have been welcomed into a new organisation on a permanent basis. That means they've completed a paid work placement for a period of time, usually 12 weeks, sometimes 6 months. And then that has led for them to have a permanent new job. And of that cohort, 46% have been female and 34% from an ethnic minority background. Here in the UK, as I mentioned, women are represented in engineering about 12% out of 100, which is quite stark. So we really feel we're making a positive impact in diversity and inclusion and helping career break professionals get back to work. Here in the UK, probationary periods on average are successful about 88% of the time. So our programme is between 10 and 16% more successful than standard probationary periods. And the reason for that is that we work really hard for a wraparound of support for career break professionals on their paid work placements and beyond. And I'll talk a bit more about that coming through in a minute. We work with around 100 host organisations in the STEM sector, so science, technology, engineering and maths. Those organisations have signed up to be STEM champions because they see advantages of working with our approach, the increase of STEM professionals in a very much skills short market, improving workplace diversity, and we know that more diverse teams are more creative and more competitive, attracting highly experienced talent to roles that can be really hard to fill within the sector, and raising awareness of the impact of unconscious bias and the impact of unconscious bias in things like interviewing as well, and also promoting good practice in inclusive recruitment and employer brand awareness. So that's some of the advantages for organisations of working with the STEM Returners approach. So some of the barriers that people face when looking to return to work after a career break, and I hope some of these might resonate with some of the people on the call today and listening in afterwards. So the need to refresh knowledge and skills. There could be a bias around the fact that there's a perception that skills can deteriorate when we're on a career break. Often that's not the case. People spend time on their career break focusing on keeping up to date with literature, doing boot camps of learning, short courses, or engaging on longer courses as well to keep their skills and experience really up to date. But the perception could be from organisations that there's a deterioration of skill brought on by a career break. And often that could be more prevalent for older professionals who can experience ageism in looking to return to work, that there's a deterioration of skill at an older age. The other main barrier that career break professionals face when looking to return is a severe lack of feedback. Annually, we do a piece of research called the STEM Returners Index, and that surveys over 1,000 people on a career break, and it talks about the barriers they're facing. This year's research demonstrated that career break professionals felt they received feedback significantly less than people with a consistent work history. 44% of our respondents explained they received feedback from their applications never or hardly at all. We know that application fatigue can be really difficult for career break professionals to get over, and that a lack of feedback and lack of clarity and feedback on your skills and what you've written about yourself in application can really affect confidence. Lack of flexibility is also a real barrier for career break professionals looking to return, especially if they are overcoming personal health challenges or have ongoing caring responsibilities, be that childcare or elderly care. And it can be a real reason why people struggle to transition their skills from one sector to another, for the perception of a lack of flexibility. We've talked a little bit here about ageism, and we very much work with older professionals looking to return. We do find that post-COVID-19 pandemic, older professionals are looking to continue working later in life, and it's really important to be opening up organisations to that older career professional talent. We've talked a little bit about the deterioration of skills, and also that career break professionals are being filtered out. So one example of this I can give you is a candidate we were working with for an organisation in UK Defence. She applied for a role within a team via the STEM Returners programme, which is, as I mentioned, taking someone outside of the standard recruitment channel, and it's a lighter touch interview. And she did the interview. She'd had a 7-year career break to raise her children, a decision that she'd taken to take some time out of her engineering career. She did the interview. She was nervous, but we gave her coaching and mentoring support, and she absolutely smashed it. She did a fantastic job. And the hiring manager said that this returning professional was local, she's motivated, she's managed teams, she's got maturity in her outlook, she's got so many of the skills that I covet, that I really need within my team. Why have I not had the opportunity to meet her before? And we had to explain to him that she had applied to work for his team on 4 other occasions, but he'd never seen her CV. Her CV had been filtered out via that standard recruitment methodology because she had that career gap. Confidence really can be lacking. So one thing we really instill in our host organisations who sign up to the STEM Returners approach, so if you come and do an interview via the STEM Returners approach or do an application, is the importance of feedback. Feedback, feedback, feedback. We don't allow our career break professionals to flounder in that way. We demand, expect, request feedback at application stage and interview stage. It's really important that we are seen very differently from a recruitment agency where feedback can be lacking, and this is very much a D&I and supportive approach. We talk an awful lot here at STEM Returners about the recognition of transferable skills. So that's the skills that you have, both physical hard skills and softer skills, such as team building skills and organisational skills. Relevance for new role, and how you bring those skills from your previous career or indeed from your career break. I mean, I know as a mother, negotiation skills are really high. I'm the mother of a very sassy 7-year-old daughter, and I've grown in negotiation skills quite significantly as she's got older. It's really important as well to consider the flexible nature of someone's work, and not perceiving reasonable adjustments as a challenge, but understanding reasonable adjustments that a career break returner might need to work as a positive, as a superpower. Having that information as an organisation up front can really help you to ensure that career break returner has a sense of belonging in their role and has all the tools that they need to thrive, and never making assumptions about any reasonable adjustments that someone might need, because not all disabilities or diversities are seen. Doesn't seem to want to. There we are. So here's some of our statistics that I've gone through there and mentioned of our impact. So 45% of those looking to return to work here in the UK in 2023 were female, compared to 12% of people working in STEM sector. And really start figures here for ethnic minority talent. 39% of our returners are from identifying as an ethnic minority background, versus 9% of ethnic minority professionals working in the UK STEM sector. The government predicts there's around 75,000 people here in the UK with a STEM sector qualification who aren't actively using it. And as a result, they instilled earlier this year in January something called the STEM Recharge Project. And that was focused on the Midlands because the government predicted, based on their research, that there was a lack of returnship activity happening in the Midlands compared to the south and the north of the country, where this sort of returnship, this paid work placement period leading to a permanent role was more prevalent. So that project's gone really well. It's trained 100 organisations to have the skills and the confidence to embed a returners programme, much the same as they might be doing great work around early careers or graduates, but also help to upskill STEM sector career break professionals to go out and seek those new work opportunities with the use of coaching. And also employer insight, so deep diving into some changes in the sector and advances in technology and lots of wraparound learning. Some of the results from our index that I've gone through there, I really welcome you have the opportunity to go and have a read of the index. It's available on our website, and I hope you find it really interesting and you can kind of resonate with some of its findings. Feedback really is so key. So if you were to come and take part in a STEM Returners programme, we would be giving you a really high level of feedback on our coaching advice to you, so the things that you can practically do to get yourself ready to return to STEM or engineering, but also on those application interviews that you do, and continuously moving you along that continuum to get back to work. Looking here a little bit at the percentage of barriers faced by ageism. One of our team members at STEM Returners, will be very honest to say, he's in his early 60s. He had a career break for extended period of time because his wife, regrettably, was very unwell, and he had a consummate career in the maritime sector before needing to take his break. After he'd spent some time caring for his wife, he was looking to return, and he faced a number of barriers looking to return. One of those was his age and ageism, lack of feedback, and also this perception of him being overqualified as well for the roles he was hoping to do. So he came and worked with us at STEM Returners, and he openly says he's now got his mojo back. He's really thriving and really enjoying the challenges of being back to work. So we're really positive, and we like to practice what we preach in that area here at STEM Returners. So I mentioned a wraparound of support that comes from the approach. So we have an in-house careers coaching service. Amanda and her team work with our career break professionals in areas of preparing for interview, accessing short courses or bolt-around learning. You may be aware that the Open University have a Return to STEM short course, which is free and available online. And we strongly recommend you go and check that out and give that a go. Also areas of advice really to career break professionals, such as building your network, raising your presence on platforms like LinkedIn, seeking out communities of people with skill sets that you're interested in, following companies that you'd like to work for, and kind of growing your presence on a platform like that. We also have our own mentoring platform, which we're really proud of. The mentoring platform allows our career break professionals to set up a profile of themselves and then connect with an industry relevant mentor for them, someone who has a similar qualification background as them, or works in a role that they aspire to do, or in a similar sector. And the platform allows those mentors and mentees to grow together, to form a strong bond, and to continue that mentoring relationship far beyond a paid work placement within a host company, but for many years. What's wonderful about our mentoring platform is that quite often, after we've returned career break professionals back to work and they're settled within a new career, they then become mentors for people at the start of their journey, which can be so powerful, because it's really lovely to be mentored by someone who has walked in your shoes effectively and has an understanding of what it's like to transition their skills or come back to work after a break. There's lots of benefits of being a mentor, a personal feeling of being valued as a role model, fulfillment from investing in others, and the chance to enjoy a rewarding, challenging new relationship, to be enlightened and made to laugh and excited by having that sort of relationship with someone new. So we always encourage our host organisations to give back to the STEM returners approach by offering up people to be mentors for our STEM returners, which is really successful and something we're really proud of. So tips for returning. Having returned over 400 people back to work now since we started 6 years ago, we've got lots and lots of stories of people's journeys, the reason for their career break, if they're happy to talk about them, and also their journeys to get back to work, the challenges they faced trying to apply to get back to work via standard recruitment channels, and then the difference in the approach of doing a paid work placement with us here at STEM Returners. You can go to our news section of our website, and all of our returner blogs are available there. I really encourage you, if you're feeling like you're lacking confidence, you're not quite sure where to start on this return to work journey, to go and read some of the blogs. Career break returners really do come in all shapes and sizes, and I think it can be quite inspiring to understand how people have transitioned their skills. Some of the kind of quotes here from our career break returners is do it. It is hard and often scary to believe in yourself, but never give up. The advice I would give is to treat returning to work as your job. I know application fatigue can set in, but trying to allocate time each day, each week to explore returnship activity, complete introduction forms or introductory letters about yourself. Really take the time to consider your transferable skills. Ask your friends, ask your family what you're great at. Seek out a mentor for yourself, and raise your profile as much as you can on platforms like LinkedIn. It would all be advice I would advocate. If you'd like to work for an organisation, and having explored that organisation, it's clear they don't have a returners programme, ask them why not. I think that's really powerful. It's not hard for an organisation to instill a returners programme. The concept isn't easy either, but we can help them. So if there's a company you really want to work for, and you think a supportive paid work placement leading to a permanent job would be great for you, then definitely call them out and ask them if they would consider that. I really recommend taking the time to have a look at those returner blogs, but also exploring our website further as well to understand who we're currently working with. Here's some of our returning professionals. We're really proud of everyone we've helped return to work. And here they've left some of their comments about the programme and about their journey. Here in the top right corner, we've got the lovely face of our returning professional, Manuel. He had to say that it was a rewarding experience that not only allowed me to apply my skills and experience, but also enabled me to grow and develop as a professional. And he's a software developer in test for an organisation called Cubic Transportation Systems, who are one of our STEM champions. An example of a career break returner I'd like to talk to you about is one of our returning professionals who worked for many, many years in engineering in Wales. And she transitioned. So she transitioned from being a man to being her true self as a woman. And in that transition journey, she felt a little bit alienated within her work, within her role as an engineer. She felt that the work environment had become really tricky, and she was losing confidence. It was affecting her well-being, her sleep. And she took the difficult decision to finish that employment and take some time out during that transition journey. And actually subsequently didn't go back to engineering. She actually took the time to retrain as a nurse and had a some 10-year career in nursing. When we started chatting to her, she was really interested in getting back to engineering. It was where her original qualifications were, where her love and passion really stood. And she'd still been keeping up to date with trade press and news about her particular area or sector of engineering. Lots of contacts and friends still working in the field, and really quite excited about some recent advancements in sustainability and advancements of R&D really in her previous roles and previous sector. So she embarked on a STEM Returners programme with one of our host organisations, a 12-week supportive step back to work. I really enjoyed it, absolutely thrived, did brilliantly, and was subsequently offered a permanent opportunity to join the team, and is now working permanently back as an engineer. So just one example of a life that's really been changed through the approach of that paid work placement, rather than needing to apply via a standard recruitment channel where feedback can be lacking, and this perception of having had extended career break can, not always, but can make it harder to get through that process. Here's some of our returner champions. We're working with new host organisations all the time, and we tend to launch our new projects weekly. Just today, we have launched 2 opportunities with a fantastic organisation in technology, an analytical study called Serious Analysis here in Hampshire. So there's 2 organisations there available on our website that are fresh today. Really proud of the work that we do, in the sense that many of these host organisations will have run a pilot project. So they would have welcomed 4, 6, 8 or 10 career break returners initially as a cohort to support each other and be that kind of driving force moving forward. And on successful completion of that, then either embedded or scaled their programmes, which means they would run a returnship activity annually, much the same as they would invest in early careers professionals or graduates coming in. They would also invest in a supportive approach for mid-career professionals returning as well. Or they will have scaled their projects, so gone from a relatively small controlled pilot to then welcoming far more career break returners. A case in point here would be, for example, Jacobs, who after successfully welcoming 6 career break returners are now welcoming 50 over 2023 and 2024. So just some examples of the good work that some of these organisations, well, all of these organisations are doing in diversity and inclusion and returnship activity. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my presentation today. My name's Claire Goodall, and you can scan the screen here to grab my information and come and follow me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have you as part of my LinkedIn community. If you have a question and you maybe don't want to ask now in this sort of forum, that's absolutely fine. You'd be so welcome to pop me a note on LinkedIn, or you can send an email to us as a whole team here at STEM Returners at hello@stemreturners.com. Our website is great. It's easy to navigate. There's a section for returners, a section for employers, and really importantly, go and check out our news section to read some of those inspirational returner stories. And I hope that you enjoy learning a bit about the fantastic people we've helped over the years. Thank you so much for your time, and it would be my absolute pleasure to take any questions.
Fantastic, Claire. Thank you very much. We actually have some questions already in the chat, so I'll go through these ones and then. So we have one from Marie. What is the timeline for returners to make the switch, and what are the challenges they are facing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So timelines, we help people that have had a career break of anything from 6, 8 months. Maybe that's overcoming a personal health challenge or a bereavement, or people that, I think some of our longest career break professionals have had a break for 12 years plus. And one example of an engineer returner, she left tech engineering to buy a gym franchise with her husband, and they developed and scaled the gym franchise and did really well, and then they subsequently sold it on. She was looking to return back to engineering, but after such an extended career break, she just wasn't getting any interviews. She was really struggling to be acknowledged as that tech professional because of that extended gap on her CV. So the STEM Returners approach was definitely the right mechanism for her to get back to work with a supportive 12 weeks to grow in confidence and really demonstrate her skill and demonstrate her ability to continue to learn and grow. Nearly all of our career break returners aren't stagnant while they're on a break. They're still learning, if they are proficient in a particular piece of software or a process, and then advancements happen in that, they go away and they learn about it. There's so many fantastic courses out there online. Some are little cost, some are no cost, that people can be doing to keep their skills fresh and learn new skills as they're going. An awful lot of our organisations as well, especially in the UK defence sector, still utilise older software and older pieces of code, for example, such as C++ and others, where there's advancements in other sectors such as online gaming and other things. Defence sectors still use and utilise those older skills and really need mid-career returners in those areas because they have those qualifications, and quite frankly sometimes those skills aren't being taught in university anymore. So there's a real niche there for people that have those older skill sets. So yeah, I mean, to answer the question, there's no kind of one size fits all answer for how someone transitions their skills. Our approach is to welcome people for either a 12-week or 6-month paid work placement in terms of actually on the job when they get that opportunity. But I think development and ability to transition your skill goes on for much longer than that period. So I think that continuing to develop a career break returner and help them to bridge the gap in their skills and knowledge is much longer than just the placement period. I think the placement period is about that company having the confidence to know that someone has the right attributes and attitudes and ability to learn, to be able to invest in them for a permanent role, but continue to give them valuable support. I hope that answers the question.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you very much. We also have another question from Bamidele, who says, is it a full-time placement or can you do it alongside a full-time job, especially if the employer supports?
So the placements can be full-time, they can be part-time. You need to finish your work. So if you're on a career break but you're working, which is perfectly normal, bringing some financial support into your family, you would need to finish that work to come and take part in the approach. So you don't have to be unemployed to be eligible. We completely understand that people can be working maybe part-time or below their capability or outside of STEM, but you would need to finish that work because it would be an employment contract, either part-time or full-time on the paid work placement. So a fixed term contract for either 12 weeks or 6 months, with always the view that would lead to a permanent role. So a host organisation effectively ring fences the vacancy. In terms of that equitable playing field I talked about, it's really important for hiring managers to be interviewing career break professionals against career break professionals and assessing who's the best fit in terms of attitudes and attributes for their role. Because if you're interviewing someone against someone who's got a consistent work history, then their confidence in interview is going to be very different. So we're very, very strict about that element of ring fencing. An example of a returning professional who was working is a lady called Renu, who we worked with earlier this year. She was returning after a care and responsibility break, and she had a mechanical design background and a degree in mechanical design engineering, and she was working part-time in a local supermarket whilst looking to find the right opportunity for herself, and she left that role to come and do a paid work placement within a nuclear organisation here in Hampshire, and transitioned her previous skills in mechanical design engineering from the aerospace sector actually to be working in nuclear, and did a successful 12-week paid work period and is now a permanent member of the team. So just an example there of how someone can be working when and still be eligible for this approach.
I'll go to Onora, who has her hand up. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, you don't pronounce the U, but it's always a battle to try and pronounce it. It's really hard. I wanted to firstly just double check, because I actually responded to someone else's question, just to say, Claire, you had said that STEM Returners is also a good platform for people who are switching into STEM who haven't worked in STEM before. Is that correct? If you're a career switcher?
Not quite. I would say that our host organisations are looking for someone with a STEM background, I would say. So having done a qualification in science, technology, engineering and maths.
My mistake.
I would, that's fine. I would say definitely people transitioning across sectors within STEM. So
Yeah.
for example, someone transitioning from the automotive industry into the maritime industry, or the oil and gas sector into renewables. Teaching, very much so, we would say would qualify under that sort of STEM sector background qualification to a degree. But most of our host organisations are looking for some sort of a STEM practical or qualification background. We do work with graduates at STEM returners. Most organisations in the STEM sector are really good at working with graduates, in the sense that they've often got whole teams that are dedicated to graduate recruitment. So the way that we would work with a graduate here at STEM returners would be the example of a graduate who maybe is neurodiverse, like myself, who maybe doesn't perform well in assessment centres, and needs to come outside of the standard recruitment channel to get their genuine skills and experience noticed by an organisation. Or it might be that there's a graduate there that has been made redundant after a couple of working years, and is struggling to sort of fall in between the cracks, not being picked up by graduate schemes, but also not being selected for more senior roles through not many years of work experience. So I think the ethos for us here at STEM returners is everyone who's struggling through standard recruitment channels can take part in the approach, but normally people with a STEM sector background, because all of our roles predominantly will be STEM sector. However, that said, as long as the host organisation is a STEM organisation, then of course there are support function roles within those companies. So things like project controls, project management, HR, IT roles obviously do apply as well under the STEM banner. So finance roles, for example, as well. So it's definitely worth exploring our current opportunities on our website and seeing if anything appeals to you in terms of organisation, location and skills that they're coveting.
Sure. I was just wondering, so if you've not had an actual background in tech like myself, but I am doing currently a software engineering boot camp, would I qualify from that perspective to apply for, say, a software development placement?
Yeah, you definitely would. I would say that we help anybody who feels they're going to struggle through standard recruitment channels to get their skills and experience noticed. Most of our host organisations are looking for people with some consummate practical work experience in the field, ideally, or a field that's relevant. But yeah, we would definitely look to support you and help you. As someone who hasn't worked in tech before and will be effectively graduating from a course, then those graduate or early careers schemes as well, which most organisations have in the STEM sector, would definitely be a great avenue for you to explore as well. So if you pick the organisations or handful of organisations that you aspire to work for and look at early careers or graduate opportunities, it might be worth going down that avenue as well. But yes, absolutely. We're very much about inclusion at STEM returners, filtering people in rather than filtering people out. And that's our ethos.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We also have a question in the chat from Daisy. Hi Claire, thanks for the chat and encouragement. Could you please kindly go over the application process plus eligibility?
Yeah, my pleasure. So what you will do is explore on our website our current opportunities for paid work placements, and say you would identify an opportunity that interested you. You would apply for that opportunity, and then you would get put through to a member of our returner support team. The returner support team are absolutely brilliant, and their day job is to speak to career break returners about opportunities. They will have all the information about the job, about the culture of the organisation, about the level of support they can offer, the duration of the placement period, and anything else you'd like to know about it. We would ask you to complete what's called a candidate introduction form. So that form has 5 questions on it, and we ask you to answer those questions, and those will be things like talking about your transferable skills that are relevant for the job, and things like your qualifications that you feel are relevant, and also talking about achievements you have and things that you've taken part in during your career break. Just any information that's going to be beneficial for a hiring manager to understand a bit about your motivation for that company and your interest in the job. And then that combined with your CV will be sent directly to a hiring team. So it won't go to a talent acquisition team or HR department where bias could creep in terms of someone's career break. It goes directly to a hiring manager who has been trained in this approach and is fully on board and fully understands that these applications will be from career break professionals for initially a paid work placement that will lead to a permanent role if it goes well. So they're not going to be expecting candidates that they would see through their standard recruitment channels or candidates that have a consistent work history. They'd be very well versed in understanding this is a career break returner that they're going to be assessing. So that's how the approach works. Eligibility is anybody who's struggling through standard recruitment channels.
Brilliant, thank you. You've covered this a little bit, but I'll read out the question from Marie. Oh, okay, it's gone. Oh no, it's here. Is there any room in this program for early talents or for people who move to a brand new industry, or everyone has to have previous experience? Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, so I think I've sort of elaborated on that. Most of the time, our host organisations are looking for mid-career returners, people that have had a consummate career and are looking to return or transition their skills, having had practical work experience before. I think that organisations are really good at helping and supporting early careers and graduate talent. But if you do feel that there's reasons why you would struggle through those schemes, then definitely seek us out and come and chat to us. And everybody's different. We're very much in the business of filtering people in rather than filtering people out. So we're always up for a chat.
Thank you. And then the final question that we have in the chat. So if anyone does have any more questions, please drop them in. From Bamidele, is it open to someone who hasn't had a career break already in STEM, but looking to transition skills into other STEM sectors?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Yeah. So if, for example, you've got a background in the oil and gas sector and you would love to work in renewables, but you don't seem to be selected for interviews because you don't have that work experience, but lots of transferable skill, then definitely you'd be eligible for the provision, and we'd look to take you outside of that somewhat biased, potentially standard recruitment process.
Fantastic. So just checking, if anyone does have anything they want to add, please just put up your hand or nothing. Well, Claire, is there anything that you'd like to say before we let you go? Thank you so much. It's been brilliant.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's been a pleasure chatting to you all. Thank you for the fantastic questions and the engagement. I really hope that this sort of hour has given you some encouragement and some positivity around looking to return to work. Definitely build your network. Definitely go and seek out a mentor if you don't have one already. And come and find us. Come to stemreturners.com, read our returner blogs, learn about our fantastic host organisations who are really active in this space, and come and apply for some of our opportunities.
Okay, well, thank you. Everyone thanking you in the comments. I'm not sure if you can see them, but loads of people are saying thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. Yeah. I hope that you've all taken something from this. As Clara said, please check them out. Connect on LinkedIn and wherever else you can find her. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for taking part, everyone.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
No problem.